This is a lesson, a video on emotional, temperamental, and anger management. Just imagine this scenario. You just return home from a long, hard day's work, coming in for peace, for relaxation, for comfort. And you just open your bedroom door. What do you see? You just saw your spouse, your husband, and your wife in intimate situation with someone else, with somebody relative to you, a total stranger. What happens? Your heart races, boom, boom, boom. Your hands begin to shake. Your mind initially goes blank. In just a few seconds, anger, pain, betrayal, humiliation, disbelief, everything just support themselves within your mind. Somehow, you just start sweating on the spot. Your eyes open wide. You narrow them. You have mixed emotions, everything rolling around in your mind and in your body. The real question is, what do you do next? Welcome to this channel, Nisinuga Reflection, that is concerned about your emotional management, your mental health, your well-being, your joy, your peace, your personal growth and development, reminding you that you have only one life and you have just to live it well. The obligation is up to you. It's your choice. It's your responsibility, not somebody else. So, from psychological perspective, we shall look at some things. So what do you do in such a situation as an aggrieved spouse? The first thing that is being suggested is that you must control your first reaction. You must control your first reaction. The shock will trigger intense anger, definitely. You feel betrayed. You feel humiliated. Yes, you have a right to that. And you panic. Your body releases stress hormones that can impair your judgment. Although remaining calm outside is extremely difficult, but it is possible. Remember, your life depends on it. Your joy depends on it. Your future depends on it. It's better to work hard to preserve life than to preserve your marriage, because something else that you don't like may happen. If you can, at that moment, just take note of this. Do not argue immediately, because that may aggravate your anger. Your emotion may make you to do things that you may get to regret later. Take a few breaths. Just remember, this is a lesson for today and for tomorrow. Say as little as possible if you must say anything at all. But it's better if you keep quiet, don't say anything. And avoid making decisions in the heat of the moment. That should be your first response. I will give you at least two examples before we round off this session. Number two, remember the first one. Don't take any action. Don't say anything if you can avoid it. Number two is walk away from the scene. Walk away from, though your legs may be shaking. It may seem as if you are not fighting for your right. You should fight. You should do something. But the best thing you can do for yourself, for your future, and for your tomorrow is to walk away. Leaving the room or the scene is not an act of weakness at all. It's a sign of emotional maturity. You're able to control your emotion, your anger, your temper, and self-control. Distancing yourself gives your mind an opportunity to regain clarity. You can be able to think clearly after that. So remember, the first one, control your reaction. Number two, work. Number three, do not attack anybody. Do not attack your spouse. Do not attack the stranger, in quote. Remember, to you, the person is a stranger, but to your spouse, it is no stranger because your spouse invited such an individual to your home. So whether it is your spouse or the other person, physical violence can lead to life-changing consequences. Note, example 1, if someone dies, you could face charges such as murder or manslaughter, depending on the facts and depending on how the law or the courts assess the situation. Another example, if someone suffers serious injuries during the melee, you could face charges of grievous bodily harm or aggravated assault, depending also on the jurisdiction and the interpretation of the law. The third likelihood, even if you feel morally justified, the legal system generally does not excuse violence simply because someone was unfaithful. The legal details vary by country, and specific charges depend on the jurisdiction and the area where the incident occurred. So, in the face of the law, before they look at infidelity, they will look at murder. A life is lost. Like the case that happened in Nigeria, you can Google it. It's on the net. The story of Miriam Sanda and Biliaminu Bello in Abuja, Nigeria. They got married in 2015. By 2017, I will finish the story for you later. One of them had to attack the other one, and the case became murder charge. The fourth step that is advised for you to take, this is when you get home after the long day's work and you find your spouse in an intimate relationship with a stranger in your bedroom. What do? That's the question. The fourth suggestion is that avoid grabbing any dangerous weapons or objects. Because you may say you're walking away, you just get to the kitchen or the sitting room, just take a flower vase or something that is handleable and a heavy object, you fling it. It may eat your spouse, it may eat the stranger. What then? So try not to touch, and it's a difficult thing to do, but it is possible and it is achievable. Remember, your life depends upon it, your joy depends upon it, your tomorrow depends upon it. Don't allow somebody's infidelity, somebody's unfaithfulness mar your joy, your peace, your destiny, and your tomorrow. The fifth suggestion in that scenario is that you can contact somebody that you trust, somebody that you consider reliable, because they say a problem shared is half solved. Because if you bear it alone, it will still be rolling in your head, rolling in your mind. Your eyes will be wide like this, as somebody that has taken cocaine or one hard drug, because your hormonal level will have risen, so your adrenaline will be shooting the skies. So that's why control is important. So by the time you sit down to discuss with somebody, the pain will be easy now, small. And the best thing you discuss with, make sure it's somebody that is level-headed, not somebody that will pour petrol into the fire. If you discuss with somebody that is not level-headed, somebody that is hot-tempered, somebody that doesn't have compunction for sanity or for positivity, the person may aggravate the situation. So you have to be careful the kind of person you talk to. You may talk to someone, the person may say, you have to go back there and deal with the man. Go ahead and deal with the lady. Who are you? Pour hot water. Go to this one, do this one, do this one, and you go and do that. Well, remember when the chips are down, when the case gets to the court, that person will not answer the question for you. You can't say it is A or B that pushed me to do this or to do that. The court will not listen to that. The point is you did it. You did it. Didn't you? You threw it. You hit. You said it. You said that. Well, let me quickly share this story about what I say. It's better for you not to see anything at all. If you are in the place. This particular man in Lagos discovered that his wife was having an affair with a neighbor in another house in the neighborhood. Well, when he caught them together, in his moment of anger, he shot the word at the man and said, you did this. You will not live to tell this story. You will pay for it. You will go for this. Incidentally and unfortunately, a couple of days later, the stranger, the man that was messing up with the wife, gave up the ghost. Well, the husband was arrested, and it was proven to him that, well, you said this, and people heard it, there are witnesses when you said this, that this man will not survive, will not live to tell the story, that he will pay dearly for it. And now he has gone. So he was held liable. And when the autopsy was done, it was discovered that the man had some ailments that necessitated his death. But however, the prosecuting officers still took the man to the court, and they said it was the man that was responsible. They neglected, they pushed aside the medical report. It was an NGO that used to visit the prisons that saw the man, that the man narrated the story. He had been claiming innocence until those ones went to wake up the case again. And they were able to prove that actually the man had this ailment, which is very, very serious one that led to his death. It wasn't what the husband said. But he has spent some critical years in prison. See what speaking in that moment has caused him. So that's why it's advisable, if you can avoid, don't say anything, because your word may be taken against you sooner or later if the unpleasant happens to any of the culprits. So the sixth person is give yourself time to think this over before making any decision. Don't make any rash decision at that particular moment, especially if you already have children. In between you and children are involved, you have to consider the well-being, the wellness, the psychological well-being, the emotional well-being, the mental health, the future management of those children. Very, very important. So do not decide on divorce, separation, revenge, or reconciliation immediately. Just let time pass over it. Emotional pain often clouds judgment, but it's something you have to think over carefully. Give yourself time. Don't rush to make any decision. Seventh suggestion is seek professional counseling. Either see a psychologist, that is for your own self-healing, then marriage counselor to be able to guide you what to do in the process, especially for the sake of the children, so that they say the children are coming from a broken home and things like that. This factor has some negative effect on the children. So you can see a therapist that can help you with the healing process. Yes, betrayal process and the grief that you are in. Then anger management. Then, whether rebuilding trust in the unfaithful spouse is achievable or doable, and how to protect your mental health and that of your children, how to maintain your joy and your peace and your progress without any future contamination, how not to predispose yourself to a similar attack in the future. Manda, thank you. Rosari, thank you. So thank you for reflecting with me on the Sinuga reflection. All we're talking about is, what do you do when you just find yourself in a situation where you discover that your spouse is unfaithful and is cheating on you, especially in the worst scenario, when you walk home from a hard day's work, you open the door and you just find two of them, or you travel on business or for an assignment and you came earlier than scheduled, and by the time you walk in the door, what you see is a scene that you cannot describe by words of mouth. To you, it's horrid. To you, it's like a stab, a sharp knife stab in your heart. To you, it's like somebody you have trusted has betrayed you dangerously. So, if children are present in the house that time, you have to do everything but to shield the children from that scenario. Your children witnessing violence or all these unpleasantries is not healthy for them presently and in the future. So remember, a broken heart can heal. I repeat, a broken heart can heal. A damaged marriage may or may not be restored, but a prison sentence or loss of life cannot be undone. That is why don't do anything rash in the heat of the moment. So choosing self-control is not approving of the betrayal. It is choosing not to allow another person's action to determine your joy, your peace, and your future. Walk away. I repeat, walk away from the unpleasant scene before you react. Think very well before you speak. I repeat, think very well before you speak, and seek wise counsel before you make any life-changing decision. That approach protects your life, protects your freedom, and your ability to make sound decisions after that first emotional shock. Share your comments, send in your questions. If you have not subscribed to my channel, subscribe. Thanks for reflecting with me. Rosea, thank you for subscribing to my channel and my other reflectors. Please subscribe to my channel. And remember, emotional management is key. And emotional intelligence is something that you should invest in. It's important to learn to control your emotion, your feelings, your anger. And don't say anything, don't make any decision in moments of extreme anger or betrayal. Thank you once again. God bless you.